less. Judas was used to connect while he was going to school in Germany, in South Africa. He has worked with the Internews, where the guys are making outlandish and outrageous comment against. I have benefited from Internews. And I will not sit there and allow some people or some handful of colleagues who are self-seeking to denigrate the Internews. No.
Internews money, that good money, you think?
Internews money has always been good money.
Okay, let me hold you there yet and speak with Joe Tunnel. I think I understand that. Joe Tunnel, he's part of the diaspora, people who are trying to ensure that Julius Kanaba comes in, or Julius Kanaba emerges as president of the Press Union. Good morning, sir. How you doing? Okay. Okay. Now let's hear from you. What's being planned for Julius Kanaba on that side?
Okay, so far I'm the senior zone officer of the Friends of Julius Kanaba in the United States and Canada. I'm based here in Liberia. I'm in Liberia and I'm representing the guys who are 40 Liberian venerated journalists in the diaspora have pledged their commitment to ensuring that Julius Kudi Kanaba becomes the next president of the Press Union of Liberia.
On what basis? On what basis? On what basis do they want Julius Kanaba?
So they are not just speaking, they are not just talking, but they have committed to stay with him in whatever means. Recently we presented $400,000 Liberian dollars to the campaign team of Julius Kanaba on 11th Street as part of commitment. What are they saying? The guys are saying that Julius Kanaba brings with him credibility to the Press Union of Liberia. He brings with him exceptional leadership ability. He brings with him new ideas to transform the living condition, the working condition, the working atmosphere of journalists in this country. So as Clay just said, we can't continue to live in the past as journalists. So have you seen the National Bar Association? How organized they are? So you see people just leave your high school, take one recorder, take one cell phone, and today they are journalists without going through any form of training. This should not be. The journalism in Liberia is like we don't want to attach ourselves now to journalism based on the leadership of the PEL. The leadership is not doing well, and it is about time that we take a radical action through the legal process, through the ballot box, to have some transformational change at the level of the Press Union.
Now, Jutono, let me come in, please. No, I don't know why people are blaming the Daniel Yakona, because he was just an old car parked in the garage. He's just the vice president, not the president.
Let me tell you something. So you see the $100,000 hanging over the PEL. Daniel Yakona is the last brainchild. As soon as we're getting out of the way, the headquarters of our PEL, new ideas will come because he's the last. All the Wahara that been hanging over the 100,000. Daniel Yakona is in line. He's the last.
Hello. Oh, it's trying to reconnect. It's trying to reconnect. You listening to the SMS?
Investing money for the PEL and then doing nothing but giving us lyrics. And I want all my junior brothers and sisters across the country, let's vote Julius Kanaba. He's overly qualified. Julius is overly qualified to lead us. As a young man who have acquired lots of education, he has come back to give back to the PEL. And I think it is about time that we all stand with him. We all ensure that he's elected comes election day in Bangabong County. And so far, let me tell you something. We are not going to elections without the cleaning up of that voter roll. That voter roll is infested. So if we just go to election with that thing that we see, I mean, the election would not be credible. And we as journalists, we should set the pace now for the 2023 national elections. We can't be going to an election where the voter rule is questionable.
Okay.
So I think both sides should come together and ensure that the voter rule is clean. What's the problem? What's the hold on? What we are journalists, we are the watchdog. We are people with integrity. We are credible people. Why can't we go around the table to ensure that the elections is free, fair, and transparent? So I'll tell you the truth. Julius is going to transform the union. Julius is going to reconcile journalists in this country. You can be enemy to people who are not supporting you. You can be someone since I declare my intention to join the Julius Carnival camp, every day I receive insults from fellow journalists. And I think this is wrong. This is wrong. People should respect democracy. People should respect freedom of movement, freedom of association. And we see that people are just angry. People take go to the Facebook and just abuse you. You are going somewhere for money. You are going. What is this? We are journalists. We should represent ourselves.
Okay.
People want to see us. And when I was conducting our elections a few weeks ago, that's why I told the people in Loking Town, we have to conduct ourselves as professional people. People hear us on the radio, and then when they see us conducting ourselves like ordinary people, it doesn't come across well for us.
Okay, gentlemen, let's many thanks. We really appreciate your time this morning.
Let me just conclude. We are working with our diaspora friends. We are working on, and I tell you, we got basis. People say they are taking over Bunker Day. Lie, complete lie. We are sitting in Monrovia, we are in Bunker, we are in Lofa, we are in Nima, and we will ensure that Julius Carnival is elected. Let me say thank you for having me on the program, and thanks to all the supporters of Julius Carnival. Vote Julius for a better PUL.
Okay, many thanks. We just received in studio also one of our colleagues. Welcome to the program, sir. Your name?
Thank you, Soba. My name is Amos Williams. I used to work for the UN mission in Liberia at Omeo Radio. Later on, I transitioned to ECOWAS Radio. And I had the opportunity to go into public service, where I just transitioned from. Once served as the president of the Federation of Liberian Youth.
Okay.
Now I'm back to where my root has been, within the media community. So I'm glad to be here.
It's one of the ideologues of Julius.
Okay.
To talk about the issues around the upcoming PUL elections.
Okay. Now you listen to one of your colleagues who was just on the line, and he struck a very important point about the voter roll. Where are we? What is it that the ideologues are reading?
Well, thank you, Soba. Being someone who has followed elections in our country and being an actor of setting the pace for credible elections, I want to agree with some of our colleagues who have stressed the importance of looking at the voter roll. I think the voter roll set the pace for a credible elections in every given situation. That define the pace of how we're going, that define the pace of how, at the end of the day, the outcome will be validated. The outcome could be measured by being a transparent elections. So I agree with the thought that we need to look at the voter roll. We need to disaggregate the voters on the list. We need to have the list published, at least. And I'm with the thought that we need to have the list published in all of the counties, maybe 5 days before we go to Congress. I'm with the view that that will set the pace for a credible process. Because I talk with an experience with the just ended federation elections. These elections where they are delegate driven, most often the incumbent use that at their advantage to flood the list with ghosting, to flood the list with people who, that's where they come in with vote buying, that where they come in with those who are non-member tend to have the opportunity to give another chance to the incumbent. So I believe when we can put the list out, and I will push, there are elections body in our country. It will be good at this point in time to talk to the ECC to do a tough cleanup of the list. Let's ECC locally list for us. Let's put the list in all of the county where ECC has a observer, and let's validate the list. Let's go to the elections. When we come off from there, everyone who would participate in the election can say, yes, this was a credible process. The voters were able to. Well, how can you be going to election? You don't know the voters. What are you telling us? You're trying to define a process of questioning the results, and that most time play in the point where the incumbent become the winner of these kind of elections tactics of fraud.
Okay, let me speak with Denise Nipsing. She's on the line. Denise, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Saba. Good morning to you and good morning to Team Julius in studio.
So, what is it? What's your import? There are some of your colleagues who are asking for the cleaning of the voter roll. There are some individuals who, in fact, who believe that if that is not done, there should be some injunction on the process. Where do you stand?
Exactly, Saba, and I stand right at that position. The PUL is a noble institution, and we as journalists, we speak to the issue of, accountability and transparency. We are watchdogs for the society. And if we speak to policy makers, to stakeholders, to do the right thing as journalists, we should do the right thing. We should not bite and blow about this issue about voters will be clean. So we should go about to do that. So you cannot have, over the time when it comes to elections process, we speak against the issue of voter choking. We talk about choking voters from one destination to another. Why in our noble institution, the President of Liberia, we will have people who are not qualified to vote to be part of the voters' roll? That is not good. We need to clean the voter roll, Saba. We need credibility at the level of the PUL. And we are asking Daniel to do the rightful thing. They should clean the voter roll. They should accept that. St. Julius is asking for that, and that should be the foremost priority of any leader at the President of Liberia.
But the cleaning of the voter roll, is it the responsibility of Daniel Yakona's team, or is it the responsibility of Adewale Kekula and her people?
Exactly. But both parties should agree. You cannot have one party opposing and while the other party is asking for that. And people who are loyal to the other thing are playing blind eye to that. They think that it's because of campaign. No, it is not because those people are in favor of you. So you can take somebody who is just in kindergarten and say, oh, you are a university student. No, that cannot be possible. We need the voters' roll to be cleaner, and we need everyone, all our young journalists of Liberia. If we need a PUL that can speak for us, a PUL that will be a normal institution that we can count on, I'm urging them to vote for St. Julius. St. Julius can make a better PUL for us come this coming election.
While Team Julius, then that of Team Daniel Yakona, and Daniel could say, well, he was just an old car parking in the garage. He didn't have any say at all in how the PUL was run.
And that was sober. I cannot tell you Daniel was an old car park in the garage. No, he wasn't. Daniel has served as assistant secretary. He has served as FG. As FG, he runs the day-to-day activities of the President of Liberia before becoming the vice president. As the vice president, he was never an old car park in the garage. He has resumed last uncounted occasion. He has resumed he has assumed, positions in terms of the president. He has represented the president at a lot of meetings, a lot of engagement. So he was never an old car park in the garage. So we should make that straight.
Okay.
Daniel has performed. It is time that this is democracy. Let Daniel give another person a chance to ensure that they do the right thing at the level of the president of Liberia. So we are calling on everyone, all journalists in Liberia, vote for Team Julius for a better PUL.
Many thanks, Denise Nipsing. She's Denise, and of course she's a journalist on the line. But gentlemen, what do you see, if at all, the voter roll is not cleaned up? What do you see?
I think we'll have a misrepresentation at the level of the press union, because with the current condition of the list, it will lead to a process where those who will be voting in whoever the candidate become will be a misrepresentation of the image of the profession, will be a misrepresentation of you, somebody that is sitting here. I think you want a process where the voters can know the candidates can know the voters, and they can make a sound decision. As it is right now, without casting any blame or whatever it is, I come from a point of thinking and believing that the best way to start is to allow all parties to accept that the list needs to be cleaned up. The voters must be defined. Right now, as it is almost like the way we call during high school day when they say color day, where you just pay the $10. It's not defined what class you're in or what position you sit in. So that's how it is right now. And I'm sure you Sober, with all that you've done, with how you've groomed yourself into the profession, you want to define a federal journalist by what have come off through your struggle days in defining you today to where you sit. So our core is to bring back the sacredness of the profession. This is a profession that is considered the fourth branch of our government. So we want to bring back that sacredness. And the only way to bring back that sacredness is to look at the list and define who sits where and what gave them the authority to making the person who becomes the president of the union, who become members of the union, in defining where the union goes between now and 2023. So I believe, and I'm of the strong conviction, and I want to call on all auxiliaries of the press union. This is a challenge for them. If we're talking the credibility of the list, it has to do with the auxiliary as well. The auxiliary must take charge of this matter. They must say to the press union, our people are concerned about who's on the list. We want to help the press union in setting the pace for the credibility of the process. That will define the new kind of approach we want to take for how we get our leaders. Today, I'm not casting any blame on anybody, but I think when we scrutinize the list, trust me, the next president that will come from the press union of Liberia elections will be someone who represents the union. As it is right now, is far from the person who will represent the union.
Okay.
So
Let's hear from
the whole
you.
issue
Come
of
closer.
the whole issue of the voter roll Sober, I think for me, people are saying that Daniel come and no, this was intentional, deliberate, and calculated ploy by this current leadership to maintain themselves in power. You see that Musa Kano, who has the secretariat, supports and Daniel. You see that Charles Coffey, who has the leadership presidency, and support Daniel. So they intentionally part that the voter roll of the president of Liberia so that their kind can be maintained. But we were saying from the other side that no, we will resist it to the core. Currently, as we speak, Daniel has a certain bag on his shoulders that he goes around with ID cards in it. With ID cards in it, and he's taking those ID cards to Banga. So there are names that have been duplicated, they are with him. But we'll ensure that those names and those ID cards that are in his pocket and on his shoulders will be taken away. And we'll ensure that those names will be removed of our voter roll. Because, mind you, if this voter roll is not clean, the result from that election would not be credible. In 2023, we will not have the face to call the National Elections Commission to book to say, oh, this party is saying your voter roll is not clean. Somebody will say, hey, you just went to election and your voter roll was the same. So what face have you now to question the credibility of the National Elections Commission? And this is where we are coming from.
So, and just before in 60 seconds, I speak from my incumbent point of authority. I once served as president of the Federation of Liberia Youth. And I know what it means when voter roll, how it play out to the advantage of the incumbent. Right now, the tactics, and from what I see happening, if we allow the process to go as it is, trust me, Daniel will become victorious. Because that is where the incumbent used to register people that they think will be in their line. And I want to challenge Team Daniel, if they outing for a credible election, to make a public statement that we support the idea of cleaning the voter roll, and let's see how we go with it. And I want to call on the auxiliaries as well to speak out, to say before we go to the election, this is not about Julius, and I want to be definite about this. From where I said, this is not about Julius. This is about the credibility of the outcome of the election. Because you do not want ghosts to be voting for somebody who will come and do a misrepresentation of us. We want somebody who will come to the union and at the end of the day will look in the face and at the back of that person to say, this is the person we went to the pool to elect. As it is right now, I can say with all fear of favor that the list will produce a candidate that will not be a representation
No.
of the caliber
It won't.
of the team as drafted. And I want to call on the elders of in the media
The
community
civil society is
to
why are they not
stand
talking?
up now. And that is where we're going, and which is a dangerous path for us. If that was happening in the bar association, the lawyers, the veterans in that community will by this time be taking the lead in making public statement, in engaging the elections commission. And I want to challenge the Adewale Kekula leadership. This is a moment for them to define what happens in the future. If they doesn't do anything about cleaning the voter roll, I would challenge Julius to stay out of the election. I would want to see Julius stay out of the election if the voter roll is not clean up. And this is not to attack anyone. This is not to attack anyone. This is to say that we want a process that will be credible, that we will define who sits where and how the person define the leadership of the president of Liberia. I'm not saying the leadership did not do well or the leadership did something on the contrary.
Let me just speak to Cody quickly because we don't have sufficient time. Welcome to the program. Hello? Hello, welcome to the program. Hello? Oh, it seems we find it difficult.
Good morning, Mr. George.
Yes, good morning. I'm okay.
Yeah, this is Angel Malema Morris, and I am serving in the capacity of. Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, serving in the capacity of deputy spokesperson for St. Julius Kamba,
Okay.
BEO president in 2022.
Now, so why should we? I just want you to, in just a few minutes, because we don't have much time. Why should journalists cast out ballots for Julius if the election will take place?
First of all, Mr. Kamba has a very attractive personality, right? And in leadership, this is something a lot of us take into consideration. If a leader has a tainted character or a tainted personality, all of his policies will not be implemented. So Mr. Kanaba comes to the platform with a credible personality, a dignified personality, and he's a very straightforward individual. He's a result-oriented person, a media development analyst. There are a lot of things this man has to offer for the First Union of Liberia. He was there before and everybody saw what happened, right? He had to leave as a means of preparing himself adequately to represent the First Union of Liberia. Because in leadership, education is also part of the preparation process. So there are a couple of things we will talk about, Mr. George. I just want you to extend an invitation, so that I can come and elaborate so on.
Okay. What we're going to do next week, let me just hold you there because we don't have time. Next, we will try by all means, either on Monday or Tuesday, to have the team Julius Kanaba and that of the team of Daniel Yankona before the election day next week.
Yeah.
So we will do that by all means next week. I'm sure either Monday or Tuesday we'll do that.
But before I close,
Yes, your parting comment.
My
quickly.
parting comment, first starting with the president of the current president of the President of Liberia, Charles Coffey. This is the transition to defining how he managed the President of Liberia. And if he doesn't do it well, we're hearing that he wants to contest in Grand Cru. This could tint his possibility of how he participated in the election in Grand Cru. I want to challenge him to put aside how leaders are concerned about who sits in their seat when they are exiting, to doing the right thing. While it is true that Daniel worked with him, but it will be good that he opened the process for a participatory exercise. And I want to call on Adewale Kekula and her folks who are managing the election to do all they can to ensure a credible, a transparent, a participatory process that at the end of the day, when the voters shall have gone to decide who becomes the president, it will be as a result of what the good work that they have done. I want to call on the auxiliaries in closing to speak out. This is about themselves as well. I want to call on the veteran community of the President of Liberia to say a word to how we go from here with the election.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So,
Yes, quickly.
So for me, Saba, I'm a bit disappointed in the civil society. It's about the media now. The civil society are quiet. Why? Why should they be quiet? Why is the civil society not speaking about this voter roll issue? It has to do with the media. The media is the fourth estate. So we are calling on the civil society organizations in Liberia, held by Madam Loretta Poy Coker, to speak to this issue. The press union play a very integral part of our country's democracy. So
Okay.
anything that happens to the press union, it affects the state at large. So we are calling on civil society while we are calling on the media practitioners and veterans within the media community to speak to the issue of the voter roll. Because
Okay.
mind you, if the voter roll issue is not addressed, we'll not go to elections.
Two key